Hi, good afternoon. I'm Dave Friedli. I'm the high school principal at Conestoga Junior Senior High in Murray, Nebraska. And I was up there last year and talked to some of you about what we were doing with achievement. So I'm kind of doing a little catch-up of what we did. And then also Rhonda's just asked me to maybe set the stage of what we're looking at when you talk about increased student performance, particularly around those areas of ACT. I've got some cards here and the clock's behind me, and I'm trying to keep this 10 minutes. This is about the 18th take to make that happen. So let's see if we can make it happen this afternoon. When you really talk about school improvement, to me it comes down to data. I'm not really a data geek, but I'm a data geek. I just think that data rules telling you what to do. When I was a coach, I looked at statistics and made some decisions by that. This summer I watched Moneyball, if you've never seen that, all about Oakland A's and changing lineups. So it's about data. The problem is, how do you get other people to buy into it? Well, I think the first people you got to get bought into it is the staff. My first day here, I kind of challenged the staff with our data. I just said, I don't think this school's performing at the level it could. I think we can do better than we are. And they've taken that on. They've got it. I think the secret, when you know staff has bought into it, is when they come and ask for the data. And I've got teachers who will come and say, let me see the Terra Novas. I want to see how the students are doing, or how they're struggling in my class. Can I look at the Terra Nova score? And it gives them some insight into how they're doing. Then you know you've got the staff on board with you. Board support's critical. Second group of people, I went to the board, and I just said, here we are, and I don't think this is where we want to be. We can do better. And the board agreed. And then they also agreed that let's set a goal. And so the goal of Conestoga is to be in the top 20% academically of Nebraska public schools by the year 2020. And I just got to tell you, we're not there. We're not in the top 50. And we can be. And the things I tell you, you can find on the school, on the state website. So you'd have to go digging for it and figure it out. But it's all public knowledge, so I've got nothing to hide and show to you. You need to have a good plan if you're going to get after it. Communicate with your parents. One of the things that we learned from John Baylor last year was really a lot more about parent communication when it came to going to college and what you have to do. We did personal meetings with every junior and with every senior, and I think that was critical in getting them to understand how important ACT was, and parents also. And when you get the parents on board, you'll get there. I'll come back to that in a minute. But the biggest thing is you've got to have student understanding. You have to get the students on board so that they understand, why are we taking these tests. On the wiki you're going to find my pre-opening this year. Those of you that have seen Jim Collins or read his book or heard him speak, you know about Get on the Bus. And so this year's pre-opening for me was getting on the Conestoga bus to CCR, College and Career Readiness. And that's what the State Department of Ed focused on this year at Administrator Days. Our kids understood it. They understand the analogy of you got to get on the bus, right people got to be on the bus, got to go the right direction. That's the way we're headed. I wish I would have had a video that day to show you. It's pretty exciting when kids are cheering for their achievement. I showed them how they had done, and I showed them what happened between last year and this year. And when you see kids who graphically get it, we improved. They cheered. They clapped for themselves. They congratulated each other. Freshmen congratulated sophomores and said, good job. You've got to get the kids on board. When the kids get on board, you'll be there. It's time to focus on the data. I know that John Baylor, kind of one of his phrases this year is, create a college-bound echo chamber where everybody's talking about go to college, go to college, go to college, everywhere you go. I'd like to think that what we have is an echo chamber that's saying we're driven by data, we're driven by data, we're driven by data. That no matter what we do, we're going to look back and go, yeah, we're treating people right, we do all the right things, we take care of them, but we're concerned about how they're doing. And so because of that, we take the PSAT, we do the jump test, we do ASVAB, we do Terra Novas. We're going to start into MAPS testing. And I'm excited for MAPS testing this year. I'm ready for the immediacy. I get it when seniors don't perform, when they're a month away from graduation, and it doesn't mean anything about scholarship or getting into a college or what's going to happen on their grade report card. I get it. But I can guarantee you, I think when we do MAPS testing and we can show them the performance immediately, they're not going to hide behind that. And I think we're going to get a much better thing. And those of you that are doing MAPS tests already probably say, yeah, that's one of the advantages. We just weren't at a place technology-wise to do that until now. So we use the data also to drive our student schedules. You know, we try to tell kids, don't avoid a class because you're down in math. Here's a math class where you can excel at. We've added in upper level math. We've also added in a financial math where they can learn about investing and learn about borrowing money, what interest does to you, positive and negative, balancing checkbooks. That's a math skill that everybody needs, and I never got it. I kind of had to learn it out on my own using credit cards. So we've tried to develop some classes that way, and we also try to steer kids in that direction. Deb Selby and John Baylor are there. I know they're going to talk about test prep. And I would just tell you, my first year here, we had John Baylor test prep, and we went away from it. Partly because it wasn't test prep's fault, it wasn't John Baylor's fault, it was our fault. We did it the wrong way. And we figured out how to do it the right way this year. And that even included me proctoring all the sessions to begin with. But I wanted kids to understand I cared, and I needed to know what it took to do that. And now I can talk with them about, have you done your homework? Have you done the online? Are you doing what it's going to take to get there? The test prep's quality instruction. But you don't have to do that either. You know, we had a para who in the summer and after school did some of her own things, and that was just as valuable, I think, in some ways. Had a senior last year who jumped her score, went from 17 to a 24, went up 7 points, and I said, how did you do that? And she said, Mr. Friedli, it's not hard. You just have to study and have a nagging mom. You know, and so for those kids who don't have a nagging mom, that has to be us. How do we just keep at it? How do we get them to understand you can do better than that? I called the school today that in 2010, 2011 had the highest Nebraska average, 26 ACT scores. And I said, how'd you do it? Well, they do it a little different way. They only have certain kids take the ACT. We have everybody take it. We think it's just one of those important things. We're proud. If we can beat the state average and have 85% of our kids take it, we'll be real happy with that. That's where we're going to go. We talk a lot about our mission statement around here. Conestoga inspires and prepares students for life. And so every day we talk about, are we inspiring kids? Are we preparing them? And that's my job. Every morning when I walk into school, I think, how can I inspire kids? How can I prepare kids? And so to do that, we've increased requirements. 4 years of math, 4 years of English, 4 years of social studies, and I'm guessing in another year we'll probably go 4 years of science. I just think that's where Nebraska's school needs to be. That's where we're going to be. We're going to require kids to do more. But we think that it takes that. Those of you that look at your executive summary of your ACT, you will see kids who take 5, 6 years of math in those 4 years, they do very well on the ACT math. You got to have that. So that's what we're doing. My contact information is at the end of the PowerPoint. Look at that. Call me. Email me. I'll send you anything we've got. Let you know. You don't have to do it our way. We're just kind of finding out a way that works for us. And I've got a staff who's totally bought into it. And I think a student body who's buying into it every day and every year that we do this. What's in the wiki that you can access? I put together the Nebraska rankings of ACT. And you can have it. You can look at it from 2010, 2011. It's over on my wall over there. I keep it over there all the time. Where we are, where we were at the bottom, where we were 2 years ago, where we were last year. And that's the way it was. And we're trying to move up into the highest levels there. I showed you the history of Conestoga ACT scores over the last 4 years by student. I took the student names out, but the other thing you can see is students need to understand, take the test more than once, you'll do better. And our kids have gotten that. My pre-opening presentation of students is in there, and you can see our test scores, and you can see how they're doing, and you can see some of my goofy sayings too, and see if you can guess the quiz. You'll see a video, just about a 4-second video is in there. It's when I knew the kids had bought into test prep, because they parrot one of John Baylor's pet phrases in ACT test prep when our kids did a nice job on the volleyball court. The first time they did it, I missed it. The second time I had my camera ready, I videoed it. You can see that. It was kind of fun. I also asked Rhonda to put on a link to a YouTube by Linda Darling Hammond from Stanford University. She says teaching is rocket science, and I really believe that too. It's not complex, but we've got to be thinking. We've got to use data. Everybody's thinking about Neil Armstrong right now, who passed away, first man on the moon. I know where I was at 12 years old, man. I was sitting at home watching that and mesmerized by what happened. It was about data. You think you didn't get data to get him there and get him back? Of course. It's about the data. If you want to be successful, you got to have that. So it is rocket science, and I think that's just an instructive sort of thing to see. So anyway, that's what we're doing here. I will tell you that what we're doing was worked for us. Develop your own style. If there's something I can do to help you, encourage you along the line, great. Otherwise, just thank you. The ESU won. My 10 years up there, I grew so much, I learned so much. I appreciate Rhonda, Bob Ewing, everybody else up there that does their thing. Have a good school year. Call me if you need. And good luck with kids. I hope you have a great school year, and I hope your kids achieve everything that you'd like them to achieve. Thanks. Yes.